Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. And today I will be reading a multi-character questionnaire by me. So let's get into it. Lyney. You don't really have to try with Lyney. Not because he's generally easy to win over or something like that. It's simply that he's just head over heels for you. So anything that you do, anything, he'd be absolutely just so happy with it. Oh, you're wearing a skirt? How beautiful. A tight dress? His eyes are all over you. Wearing the most basic thing in the world? You are still the most beautiful person he's ever seen. And it would always remain that way, no matter what really changes or happens. Because that was simply just a fact that was ingrained into his mind at this point. And today, when he just so happened to be wearing really tiny shorts, trying to seduce him and get his attention, you barely just have to walk in them in front of him, and he notices immediately. He doesn't say a single thing though. He notices and tries to keep it subtle, tries to act like it's not a big deal. But then, you see the way that his eyes are all over you, not leaving your frame for a second, and you find yourself giggling, and he catches on. Really, Wyan? My misery is that fun to you? Your misery? I'm giving you quite a show here. And you call that misery? I'm sorry, my darling. I didn't mean it that way. But you simply look so beautiful. I can't resist it. I feel like I need to do something here. Well, whatever you want to do. I don't mind. I would never mind anything from you, Lyney. You tell him, and he smiles at that, his cheeks going slightly more red, but he was generally composed. He knew how to have his way, and he knew how to charm you, how to make you blush as well, because if he was going down, then he would not go down alone. You would be blushing alongside him. And that's why his hands went to your hips, startling you as he pulled you closer suddenly, his lips planting onto yours, as he kisses you intensely, deeply, leaving no room for your thoughts, just pure shock. But soon, you find yourself melting into it, your hands going around him and into his hair, as the two of you lose yourselves in the moment. Needless to say, your attempt to seduce him, it worked a little bit too well, and that was something you were proud of. But also it was quite shocking. In a good way. It was certainly all good. And you loved it. You loved being with him. And having his attention in this way, being all that's on his mind, all that's encompassing his thoughts. And afterwards, you are the one who is a blushing mess, not him. He certainly knew how to turn tables around, and you had to be quite wary of that. Xiao. Xiao does not really pay attention to what people wear. And it was always that way. Even with you, for the most part, he never really cared that much. But then he realized that maybe he just cared a little bit when it came to you. He first realized it when you were wearing really tight clothes, and he found himself looking at you more often, focusing on your body in a way that made him very... Well, he had no idea how to feel about it. He was uncomfortable with the new feeling. But he knew it was not a bad one. He knew it was normal, to a degree, and that's why he was okay with it. He just did not expect you to take advantage of this little vulnerability that he has. The idea is that you wanted to get his attention and get him to do something rather bold. And that's why you wore something very, very seductive. and hoped that would get a reaction out of him. And it did. It all worked in the end. At first, when he saw you prance around with the dress, he was a little bit shocked, his eyes going a little bit wide at how short it was, how tight it was as well, leaving barely anything to the imagination. Which was worse, because then it was easier to imagine himself doing other things. He didn't think about much, really. Not to mention, most of his thoughts were really innocent, considering he didn't know much. But he knew he wanted to touch you. He wanted to be able to hold you. Although he was not really used to being the one to initiate any sort of touch or intimacy with you. So, after teasing him for a little bit and trying to get his attention by doing things around the house while he's sitting, you do notice that he's in fact staring at you, and you smile to yourself, feeling as though you've succeeded in one way or another, until he actually got up and wrapped his arms around your waist. Lion, why are you wearing this? Why not? I mean, it makes me look pretty, no? It does. You're right about that, he says. He looks nervous. There are so many things going on in his head, and he doesn't know how to deal with that. It feels like his mind is overloading. But then, he does something. He walks forward, then wraps an arm around your waist, pulling you in for a kiss. Lion, you mean the world to me. I love you. And sometimes I realize it too much. Sometimes I want too much, and I don't know how to ask for it. It's okay, Xiao. You mumble. And then, you wrap your arms around him as well, holding him closer as you stroke his hair gently. It's fine. I'm right here, and you can always ask me. There's no shame in that. And although he blushes at your words, he knows you're right. The two of you were lovers, and it meant that you should share things with each other and communicate. So he'd work on it, especially if it was so worth it.